presentation here by the Jai-Alai channel. I think, did we jump the gun? We may have nailed it. Don't know, but we're going to try it again here. Welcome to this special event here brought to you by the Jai-Alai channel. I'm Andrew Bleckman, obviously, one of the announcers there at Magic City. And we got two, I'll say this, probably two of Magic City's sweethearts right here. We got Tennessee and we got Kubala. Gentlemen, first of all, thank you guys for joining us. And the reason these two are joining us, I'll explain here. This is the first part of a 3-day event here we got going on. We got player interviews today. We got these two joining us. We got a presentation going on tomorrow. We can't reveal who's going to be on that tomorrow. You got to tune in tomorrow at 4 p.m. same time. We're going to have another interview with two more competitors. They will be competing in Saturday evening's event, which is that exhibition doubles duel. How it's going to work here is going to be a 3-round doubles event. I know we haven't had doubles, guys. It's been a while since we played doubles here. But how it's going to go, there's going to be 5 teams competing. The first round, it's going to work similar to Spectacular, not Spectacular 7. It's going to similar work to the rotational style of scoring. We're going to have 5 teams. The first team will serve with the second team. The team that wins that first point will then serve the next team in the rotation, and then we'll keep going. The first 4 teams to reach 7 points will then qualify for a semifinal round. There will be a semifinal partido. The first team to qualify will play the last team to qualify. The second and third teams will play. There'll be 2 11-point partidos. The winners of those will play a 15-point partido to close it out. That'll be the final event there. So we got a lot going on this weekend here, although we're not having a regular scheduled highlight. So, gentlemen, good to have you with us. And, we'll get right to it. We have that exhibition doubles duel. You guys are teamed up. How do you feel going into it?
Take it away, Tennessee. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I think – it's my turn. It's my turn.
Go ahead.
We feel fantastic about this, especially after a couple practices today and last week playing together where we just started working out the kinks and because we match really well as partners, I think, because we both have a consistent play style and we've just been working out the kinks the last couple days.
Yes,
Sure.
just we both are very yes, just like what Kyle said, that we both have very similar play styles where we can work well to each other. I stay very far back. He's able to mix himself in, whether it's close up to the front wall or mid court. So he's a guy that's very consistent on catching those balls, like catching the pelota when you're not expecting him to catch it, and I'll find a way to drop the ball that you're thinking that I should be catching. No, I'm just joking, but no, just catching the ball
that's really deep in the
exactly, not catching the ball deep in the court.
Yeah, no. So you guys are one of the great. All these 5 teams are pretty solid here. And to list it off, you got Ben and Carballo. That's one of the other teams. Jedden and Anderluck. You got Ron and Legend. And then that last team is Bueno and Bradley. So it's going to be some pretty stiff competition out there. It's going to be fun for you guys to do it. And Kyle, this is interesting. While we're on the topic, I think you trained actually as an amateur. You trained as a backcourter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
is that correct?
Not that you really.
You're
have,
making
I'm making the transition to front because
right.
Well, it makes a little more sense right now, but.
And also, I'll add on, he is very consistent with serving the ball. He's one of the most consistent guys on serving the ball. He has a lot of control of himself. He's able to control the uncontrollable object majority of times than the rest of us.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I broke my basket today.
That'll be. Yeah, that'll be fun. That event, so that doubles exhibition, the doubles duel, live coverage is going to start 7:30 this Saturday. That's on the Jai-Alai channel, live here on YouTube, and then play will begin there at 8 o'clock. Another component of that is that fantasy contest, fantasyjai-alai.com. That's one of the new things we started this season. There's some fantasy Jai-Alai. You guys are real fantasy players. Pretty cool. So how it's going to work for this week, and we'll explain it there, is you're going to pick one of the 5 competing in that doubles duel. You're going to go to the same website, fantasyhighlight.com. You're going to go to the same lineup page and everything. You're going to go to the doubles tab there in the lineup page. You're going to see 5 teams. You're going to choose one of them. Could be these guys. Pretty solid choice. After you submit your team, you're going to go over to the chat section on the main page, and then you're going to submit a final score for the partido. That's going to be going on the final partido. That's going to be a 15-point partido. So your score is going to be 15 to something. You got to get the score exactly, and you got to get the winner. And if you get both of those right, you have a chance of getting $250. If you're the only winner, you get that $250. If we happen to have a tie, a draw live at the end of the performance there, and we're going to see who takes home that fantasy prize. Is going to be $250. It's only going to be one winner, so you have to get both of those right, so it's a little trickier. You could have these guys. We got one question coming in, Tennessee. Obviously, you went down with a rib injury a couple of weeks ago. Wanted to know how are you feeling from that?
I'm feeling much better. I came back earlier than, just being honest, I came back earlier than I was supposed to, but from one doctor's from his roughly his say so what he said to do, but I didn't tell Stu or JR, so I lied my way into playing a couple weeks early. I'm always an honest person, so but I am feeling a lot better. I ended up, as you could probably tell in a little bit of my play, that I was not able to do a couple of revoltes the way that I wanted to, and I ended up making myself do more 2-wall revoltes than I would normally do. But because of the way I was not feeling well, I learned to do some other things to help myself out to become a better player. So, but all in all, I'm feeling a lot better, a lot stronger. The only place where I end up feeling any pain is whenever I'm holding my 9-month-old. He ends up finding a way to knee me or elbow me in my rib cage.
Yeah, you said that. That's if that's the worst thing, that's good. And we're glad that you're back here and healthy. And that's interesting. As you said, you're one of the most honest guys around. That's the reputation you've delivered. And sometimes you can see you apologize for even winning sometimes. I mean, you see some of those Magic City bounces, and that just shows you the type of guy you are, but a family man as well. And we love Tennessee. And look, I mean, while you were injured there, you still racked up a couple of wins. I'm pulling up the standings here on the season. Tennessee, you're there overall 7th place. You have 29 wins, so solid. And then Kubala, there you're just 1 win outside of that 3rd and final spot there. You're 1 win behind Douglas. You have 33 wins. So both of you guys, just maybe we'll start here with Kyle. Can you assess your season and maybe how you feel it's going, some of your goals for the end of the year? I mean, because we still got a long season. We go through the end of November. So just talk us through how it's been.
Yeah, it's I mean, obviously this whole season has been kind of funky because all the junk that's going on. And I mean, I've played okay. I've had my time to shine here and there, but nothing too out of the ordinary for me. I'm hoping that changes pretty soon, and I'm going to start really rocking it, especially once Douglas comes back, and hopefully I can rock his socks and take his 3rd place from him. I'm just kidding. He'll be in first.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, it's going to be tough in those games when you come back, those feature games you're going to have. Look, I mean, Ron's playing great. You're going to be in there, Carballo, you got Douglas, Ikeda, and I know there's a lot of other guys that are leaving out, but maybe even Tennessee as well. You're going to sneak in there. But it's going to be a tough bunch when you get back in there, and the wins are going to be tough. I mean, you've racked them up here these past couple of weeks. I can look at it. Week 12, I think here. Last week you had 6 wins, and the week before that I think it was like 9. So 15 for you in the last 2 weeks. Safe to say you're hitting your stride in the season, so that's good. And in Tennessee, maybe talk about your 29 wins for you. As we said, you're right in the middle of the pack there. You got a chance to move up into the top 3. Talk us through how it's been.
The last couple of weeks is because of the rib injury. I've been fortunate to find myself where I'm at either place or show a lot of the games in the last couple of weeks. and just have not been able to finish it out. I think partially because of the river injury a little bit, but my goal at the beginning of the season was to possibly be in either the top 4 or top 5 by the end of the year, and that's just right now is kind of looking like that. But the more and more I get into it, the more I want to possibly get into that first place slot. Just like all the rest of us, all of us are wanting to be the best out here on the court, and we found a way to help each other as we're practicing, which only makes us each better throughout the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. And both of you, as you said, you've put yourself in a pretty good spot here, and we've got a long way to go. I was doing the math there. I think we had like 4 months of the season left, so plenty of games left here, and we got a good compliment coming here. Tim G wanted to say, as I said, I called you to a Magic City. I called you Magic City sweethearts here. He said both of you are probably the 2 best as far as playing and demeanor. So pretty high praise here from Tim G. You got some good fans out there, and you got Andre asked this question here, asking about what do you guys think is the most difficult part of the game? You can talk about individually or just
for me.
Yeah, we'll start with Kyle.
The most difficult part of the game for me, I would say, is just staying at 100%, like playing, playing every single day competitively. It's tough to stay at 100%, and that's the thing that I'm just starting to learn now, because I never really did anything to take care of my body because I didn't need to, and now I'm starting to feel the effects of that. And yeah, so I'm learning as I'm getting into my highlight career.
Yeah.
For myself,
Tennessee.
The thing I think that gets me the most is just my size. A lot of times, yes, I'm 6'4", 6'5", but I don't think of myself as a tall person at all. I always think of myself as a short person. So I find myself sometimes playing short, where that ends up causing me to hit Machu Picchu sometimes. But I don't. There's a lot of times there's ball.
Old friend, yeah.
The ball is up high enough, and I think that I'm not able to get it, and I'll go for the rebote instead of just going for catching it off the front wall instead of going for the rebote, where like as during the doubles play has helped me to figure out that I'm tall enough to catch the ball that's higher up in the air during singles play. But every once in a while you still see me reaching up, and that's why sometimes I will misgrab or bobble the ball that's above my head.
Tennessee never misses. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the takeaway.
Yes.
I was going to say both of you are very consistent, as Tim said. I mean, just in terms of catching and all that. I mean, you're both so solid. So it's going to be tough to knock you guys out. I mean, you're going to have to throw some caroms. You're going to have to try to kill the point if you want to beat the two of you playing in doubles. And someone wanted to know. You got Steve M was asking here. I mean, how much have you guys gotten to practice together? And will you have any more opportunities to do so before Saturday night?
We practiced. We had a designated doubles practice today, and then we'll have another one tomorrow. And then we practiced, for a little bit last week. So yeah, we are getting probably about 3 or 4 or 5 hours of practice time with just playing doubles with each other to get used to it.
And then we do find ourselves getting to know each other a little bit more, because after every performance, Kubala is always on the court afterwards, and every once in a while I will get a chance to get on the court afterwards, as long as wifey allows me to stay a little bit longer, so that I can practice. And before she starts ringing the phone and telling me, "Hey, hurry up and get home so you can take care of the kids."
Yeah. Unbelievable, Tennessee. That's great stuff. We've got some more questions flying in here now. That's good to see here. George Quinn, he wanted to know singles play, and this is an interesting question. Which other player do you think you match up the best with? Both of you guys. Is there one player that I mean, it's not to say you have their number, but one person you go out and you're like, I think I got to play them.
For me, I would say that probably, I mean, Bueno and Ikeda, I think for me, like they catch a lot. Like for me, it's very entertaining to play against them because they both catch a lot, and neither of them throws very hard. So then I end up catching a lot, but I don't throw it very hard. So we just end up having these really like grinding, battling points that are a lot of fun. And hopefully most of the time I just get Bueno doing a fall down rebote and then snap a carom on him.
And for myself, I would say either Bradley, because both of us are taller guys. We stay back. We'll just try to pound each other. If I tend to throw the ball the correct way, we both have about the same amount of power. And either with him, and then we'll also try to do a Picasso right over each other every once in a while. I say that either him or I said most Bradley is probably the most. But I know that year one it was Carballo and I were always talking to each other, say, hey, let's duel it out. All right, who's the best baseball player?
Yeah, that's great. We got more questions coming in about this doubles duel of you guys as a team here. And I want you to talk about the competition a little bit. And this is interesting. He asked, what team do you guys maybe fear the most, or maybe one that you think people perceive to be the favorite going in on paper?
Take it away, Tennessee.
I will say that the team that I'm most looking forward to play against is Bueno and Bradley, or Carballo and Ben. Those are the two teams that I'm probably looking most forward to the challenge. Those two guys.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be interesting. Go ahead, Kyle. No,
I was going to agree with him. It's probably Carballo and Ben. Is my favorite for the tournament, other than for second place.
Yes, second place.
You already know who's coming in first. Hey, I'm moving soon. I need that $1,000.
Two.
Yeah, I was gonna say Carballo usually he's all over the front court, even when he's playing in the back court. So for him to be stuck in the front, it's gonna be interesting to see how he does. I think it's gonna be that's definitely one of the favorites there. But I mean, Jen and Anderluck too. Both of those guys are so competitive that they're gonna be fighting for every point. And then Ron just seems to be. I mean, both of you guys had the chance to play against him. He's just been automatic, these past couple weeks, and he's paired up with Legend there. So all these teams are going to be. I think there's going to be 7-6 is going to be the last, qualifying spot. I think it may come down to the last point. Going to be some tight partidos there. So a lot of really, really good teams here for sure.
Yeah. So not only. Go ahead, Kyle.
They better not take away my Gatorades.
Yeah, that's what no. We got to say, and the hair
is like.
It's
not a finished product.
Well, I wanted to get feedback. I wanted just to see what the fans thought, and because I bleached my hair, about an hour ago, and I just want to know what color I should dye it. So we're gonna take a Twitter poll or a YouTube poll if we knew how to do that. But what color would you like to see? Beats me.
Looks good. Yeah, your rival in Douglas now. Although we haven't seen it in a while.
He's being serious though, asking people what color that they want to see. We are going to be in the one post if y'all want to see him wearing the rocking the red. But he is being serious. I was trying to do the same thing, but I I still need to ask the wifey first to make sure that she's not going to go crazy on me changing my hair color. But so yeah, like taking poll on the chat. How many of y'all want him to change his hair color? What color y'all want it to be?
Well, I bet Douglas would probably want me to keep it the same. But maybe, maybe if I have hair like him, I'd play like him, and I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Is it fully bleached or is it just going to be the top portion? Yeah,
it's just the top. It's not the sides.
Yeah, that's a good look there. And I gotta say that to do an at-home job like that's
all this
cool effort
all this at home.
Yeah, that's pretty clean there. Unbelievable. Someone else wanted to chimed in here and asked about the team of Bueno and Bradley. Do you think they have an advantage because of the fact that Bueno has actually played in the front court, has a lot of experience of playing in the front court in that first doubles tournament?
I mean, yeah, like I was kind of telling I don't know, whoever, when I found out who the teams were going to be, I knew that my lack of experience in the front court was going to be a little tougher because, Bueno's so comfortable up there. And then to have Bradley behind him, he's going to feel really confident. So I do think that gives them a certain advantage, but you have to realize that it's Magic City and anything can happen in Magic City.
That is true. And then also with the weekend that my rib injury happened, they happened to end up being doubles partners during then to finish up that weekend because of me being out of it. So they got a little experience of actual game time. But it's still, hey, it's Magic City. It's Magic City. Yeah, everything can happen differently over there, and we already got somebody that has the stamp on his arm right there, as you can see.
They'll be doing plenty of that. What's the deal? No, that looks good. Yeah, no, that's the right way here. What's the deal with the bicep kiss in Partido format? We haven't seen how that's going to work. So if you qualify, I feel like that deserves a kiss. And then after, every win, right?
Well, so it would be if we qualify first, then yes. And then every win after that. But I can't do it for a second place.
No, I don't know. Tennessee, are you gonna do the bicep as well? Are you gonna kiss it?
If we were not stuck on this social distancing, I would kiss his bicep also, but we're stuck on social distancing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so someone else here wanted to know if you guys had any experience before this playing together. You would never paired up any doubles prior. Correct?
Well, not any official doubles, but there would be plenty of times where we might be warming up or practicing or something, and then there's just enough guys where you kind of have to play doubles in order to make it work. And, me and Tennessee would get paired up, and so I would always go in the front for that. So anytime we have played together, I've been in the front, and it's been here and there.
Correct.
Yeah, well, that'll be good. Any reps helps. Even in practice, you guys playing out there, it's that comfortability. And both of you guys obviously like to practice and definitely take this very seriously as a career. So you're out there all the time practicing. And then wondering, you said about the prize money for this. There's $2,000 going to the winning team there. Winner take all $2,000. So that will be that's what's at stake here in that doubles exhibition. Again, 7:30, we're starting our live coverage on the Highlight channel, and then play will begin there at 8 o'clock. FantasyHighlight.com if you want to play the fantasy game. And any questions you have there, you can send them over to here in the chat row, and we can help you talk through that as well. $250. $250 is at stake there for the winner this week. It's only going to go to one winner. It's not going to be split with none of this $25, to everyone. $250 going to one person. You got to get the score right, and you got to get the winner. So that's the catch there, and that'll be interesting to see if someone does it. I'm sure they will. We got a lot of participants already there. Keep getting your entries in. You have until 8 o'clock there on Saturday to do so. We got a golf question coming in here, Kyle.
Ooh, yeah.
He said, Brian D. He said, I'm sure those sticks are in the background just by coincidence. You're looking for lessons from Kyle. you played golf in college.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe talk a little bit about your golf career a little bit. And one of the questions I want to ask is best finish in your golf tournament as well.
Best what? Best what in a golf tournament?
Best finish in a junior golf tournament.
Oh,
or any golf event.
Well, I would say, I mean, I won, quite a few like small, local tournaments and regional tournaments. I would say the biggest tournament I ever played in was First Tee Open at Pebble Beach in 2012, I think. And me and Hale Irwin played, and we made the cut. So I think we were top 15.
That's pretty cool.
Top 15 at Pebble Beach, so I'd take that.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome experience there. And then you played in college at FAU as well.
Yeah, well, I played D2 for Palm Beach Atlantic, and then I ended up switching to public school and just playing club golf while I was working. But still, a lot of big tournaments. They have really good national events that maybe if I was going as an individual, I'd go up with the UCF team that made it, and always really competitive. And it was nice because real college golfers, I wouldn't have much of a chance there, but those club golf guys, that's right up my alley.
Yeah, it's interesting because I played actually in club golf at Miami, so we may have seen each other at some of those events, not knowing. I mean, we're
yeah.
That's interesting. Never even thought about that. So I didn't realize that was a club thing. So perhaps we've crossed paths before.
We did settle it at the end of last season when we went to Topgolf, and somehow you took home $100 and I didn't, and yet I beat you. So I don't really know how that worked, but I'm still waiting to hear back from my lawyer to get with Scott on that.
I think that was because you had to get rushed through it because you had a flight or something to catch.
Oh yeah, where was I?
I was gonna say you had to leave. I think you were on a cruise with a couple of guys.
Me and Diaz and Albarba.
Yes.
Me and Diaz Albarba on a cruise to Mexico.
The cruise. Can you? Wow, that seems like a fun bunch there. How was that?
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. I wish it would have been a little warmer, but it was December. So what do you expect? But man, I love cruises. Non-stop food.
Non-stop food and Gatorade. Non-stop. Did they have that or no?
They had all the Gatorade. They had more Gatorade than Magic City has.
Wow.
That's saying something.
That's a lot.
We'll switch it over to We'll switch it over to Tennessee now. George Quinn asked you about your college career. You played baseball at the University of Miami there, played in the College World Series, and actually won the College World Series. Can you talk about just obviously that experience of playing collegiate baseball and then actually going on to, achieve the greatest accomplishment you possibly could in that department?
That was an awesome experience. Just first and foremost, just being able to make the team at University of Miami, being on one of the most premier, if not the most premier baseball, collegiate baseball teams. I was able to make the team, become a starting pitcher over there, and then being able to play in the College World Series and pitching in front of 24,000+ people at Rosenblatt Stadium was a great experience. just the brotherhood that all of us ended up having. We still communicate to this day, all of us. I don't have the ring on me right now. I had to send it back because the wifey ended up getting it fixed for me. But it was just a great experience to be able to be around those guys, and then just the being up in Omaha, playing against the most premier guys, most premier teams, and just getting out. Well, I mean, we ended up going undefeated in postseason play, and this unbelievable the experience. If you end up looking at the replays of anything, unfortunately you can't really see me on the dog pile, but if you do see this one foot and this one leg sticking out. My head was all the way at the bottom of the dog pile with catcher and closing pitchers. We were like looking at each other like, oh, we're crushing each other. I can't feel anything, but this is awesome. And then all I saw was on the from the camera pictures, I saw my foot sticking out because I had one of the biggest feet on the team. So I saw my foot sticking out of the dog pile.
Wow, that's awesome. I can only imagine. And who did you face when you were pitching? Do you remember some of the most notable matchups you had there?
I remember me pitching. I had to pitch against Alabama, which at that time they were the #1 hitting team in the country, and we were fortunate as a team. I think we held them to 5 hits. Me personally, I gave up 3 hits in that game, and we ended up winning that game. I know that one of the players that ended up getting a hit was a high school teammate of mine, which he got a dribbler that just barely got through the infield, but to this day he says it's a line drive off the wall. Then in the championship game, we played against Florida State, which ended up being, I think, our 7th time playing against them that year, and we lost. Out of the 7 times we played against them, we only lost once, I believe. But the final score was 6-5 in that game. But to play against Florida State, there was other guys that were on that team that I played with and against, and from junior college, and that was the most premier when you have 2 teams out of the state of Florida going at each other again for the championship. And then I ended up seeing that even though they got 2nd place in the College World Series, I saw something that ESPN did a couple of months ago, that they did the top 32 teams over all time, and they were still one of the top 32 teams in a bracket, in a bracket, and that we ended up being the #1 team in. Yes, we were in there too,
really?
Also, but
I was gonna say, I was like, did they leave you guys out and put them in? That would be a pretty low blow.
No, but that and I mean, everybody says to this day that was the 1999 team, but the 1998 team might have been the best team individually out of everybody, because there were I can't remember which one it was. It's either 13 guys were drafted in the first 7 rounds, or 7 guys were drafted in the first 13 rounds, and 5 of the guys that played on the 1998 team ended up making it to the major leagues, and 3 of them won. 3 of them ended up winning a World Series title in the major leagues.
Wow, that's pretty good. I was gonna say that's pretty tough to beat there, and maybe talk a little bit about your professional career as well, and where did you go? Did you get drafted as well?
Yes, I ended up out of junior college. I got drafted by the White Sox organization, but out of University of Miami, I ended up getting signed by the Expos because I decided to go with the first team that called me, because going into the College World Series, I actually was slightly injured, so I didn't play at all for like 45 days. So supposedly teams thought that I was injured and I might not be able to play again, so they did not end up drafting me. And so that hurt my chances in the draft, but I still got a chance. I played with the Montreal Expos organization. I played with the Baltimore Orioles organization. Total of 8 years of professional baseball, 4 years with organizations, and the other 4 with independent teams. And just had a great experience playing from from Vermont, Burlington, Vermont, all the way down to Jupiter, Florida, as far west as Laredo, Texas.
Wow. All over the map there. That's
yes, all over. Never got a chance to play
ahead.
all the way on the West Coast, but had a great time, great 8 years of playing, and I still could play it a little bit longer, but I said I wanted to come back to finish up my my last year for my degree, and I wanted to coach. So I've been able to coach collegiately and in high school since then, since I retired back in 2007.
That's great. Now you're back competing, doing
yes,
doing
back
some
competing with Jai-Alai.
And sorry, Kyle, we'll get you back involved here, and we'll go back to the exhibition doubles duel. No,
hey,
that was great insight into. No, it's a really interesting story about that. That whole world, the whole college
I know,
World
and
Series thing.
I've just been petting my dog the whole time, so I'm not like really.
That's adorable. Give us the whole spiel on the dog here. We had to do it.
This is Annie, and Annie just turned 5, and she was dropped off in a box on my sister's lawn, and then my sister kept her until I could take her for myself, and I have never looked back since because she is perfect, and I love her so much.
That was maybe one of the most wholesome things I've ever heard in my entire life. If you guys weren't nice, sweet enough going into this, I mean, how could you root against you guys going in? I think I'm going to have to change my pick to you guys this week. I think it's just destiny. I mean, this is going to happen here. And they asked, depending on who you guys play and compete against, is there a specific strategy you have against one team or another, or is it just you're not even thinking that deep when you're going out there?
I've been thinking about it. I don't know about Tennessee. I mean, it's kind of a game of, where do you want to not put it? I don't want to give Carballo a rebote at the 4 line, because that's just not a good idea.
You don't know what's going to come out of it.
Right. But and at the same time, I don't want to give Ron an opportunity, to come up and make a play in the middle. I don't want him to touch the ball in front of the 11 line.
Right.
So it's just kind of a matter of figuring out what your best percentages are, what your best options are, and trying to send it that way. But all the teams are real strong in the front and the back, so there's not too much thought into it for me.
Yeah. Tennessee, what do you think?
I've been thinking gradually a little bit the same way, but I mean, the most of the times is as everybody knows, as JR has taught us, the best spot is to try to keep somebody in the back corner, because there's less chances of them throwing a shot off of you. So the more chances to try to keep the ball for the back quarter, the better chances we are at it. And so just try to throw the ball so that my partner Kubala has a chance to kill somebody in the front, kill the point at the front, and show off that bicep.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, mine, I got a torn bicep, so mine is a torn bicep. So you see. So mine is not as pretty as his.
Yeah,
that's torn from year one.
So, yeah, someone just asked there when when you win, what will you do to celebrate? So you got the public all over you guys now too. So when you guys win, so they love you there. You're gonna both do. I mean, maybe you're gonna do the other bicep, Tennessee. Does it hurt to flex it at all? That doesn't look particularly
it doesn't hurt to flex. It just gets tiring for that side. So I don't have too much of a bicep on this side because I was right-handed throwing. So maybe I just need to just come up and just show the shoulder or something. Maybe that'll be better.
Regardless, Kyle's going to bring the bicep kissing regardless.
I mean,
and if it was different times, maybe you could kiss his bicep, but I don't think that's certainly.
Yes. Maybe I'll just get some saran wrap and I'll put it over his bicep and kiss it.
Kyle, what were you saying?
Let's see. What would we do to celebrate?
Can't do
Probably.
the pelvic thrust because you did that last year.
This is. Did what?
We can't do the pelvic thrust because you did that last year with Cool
I know.
Fitness.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that too, but it's tough to say. I think there's no good celebrations that are 6 feet apart. But this is what I do for every time I have something to celebrate. I go to my house and I drink alcohol with my dogs. I mean,
you know what?
The dogs don't drink alcohol.
And 2000.
Yeah, every time.
Of course.
Every time I find a way to win, my wife just always adds to cart.
So you won't even see the 2000. It'll be gone.
It's already gone before it gets into the pocket.
Before it hits the checks, it's gone. And someone said here, your bicep looks like a camel. That's pro comparison. It's kind of funny.
Tennessee's bicep looks like my dad's bicep, but the other way. So my dad has this torn. So it looks like an apple up here, whereas Tennessee has this torn, and it's like an apple down there. I
haven't heard of torn biceps as like an injury as much as I have in the highlight industry. Stu has an issue with the bicep as well. I mean, it's crazy. It's a grueling sport. I mean, obviously it's a baseball background as well, and a lot of those guys that play baseball, I'm sure Tennessee, that was a majority. That was what caused it. But it's tough out there, and it's grueling physically. I mean, Kyle, you talked about it before that you had to change, your lifestyle to keep up with it.
Yeah, I mean, I had to definitely start eating a little better, and so not only did I have to commit to stretching, but I also had to learn how to stretch, and
interesting.
That was a whole process in itself. But once I started to figure it out, once I got into a little bit of yoga here and there, and then along with the guys around the court just showing me different stretches and stuff.
Has El Barba been joining you at yoga? I know some fans have been clamoring for that in the chat.
I've been giving Barba a ride home every other day while he sits in the back seat with his mask on, but we haven't done any yoga together.
I think it's just the energy in the car. There's a lot of positive juju, and I think it's rubbing off on him. So we'll credit. Let's get hashtag 25 Kubala trending because he's helped helped El Barber, not Tennessee. Tennessee doesn't need help. Both you guys have been doing great, as we said here. And Tennessee, actually, one of the guys that is from the original cast of characters that were brought in. What was it like? I want to know your initial reaction when you got that letter from the University of Miami that was talking about, playing professional high. What was going through your mind?
When I saw it, at first I thought it was a mistake email, or it might have been somebody playing a joke, or just somebody just trying to get my social security number or something, just to try to get to buy themselves a car or a house. And so I ended up calling. I made a phone call first. I think I actually just responded just for the heck of it, just because I'll find a way just to respond to anything. And I actually got another response back and said to go ahead and submit your information and to come out for a workout. And I ended up going for a workout, and Asier Asier and Coach JR were the only two that were at the little workout that I had to go to. And Asier at the time had the long hair, so he was looking like Jesus. I was like, dang, Jesus is here to play with us. and so we had to do a little run around thank God we didn't have to do too much because I was teaching and coaching at a high school at the time, and I was quite a bit more out of shape than I am now. So I think I was about 25 pounds heavier than I am right now. So thank God I didn't have to do too much of a workout, so I didn't have to have a heart attack. But so got that call, and I was thankful that we were able, that I got a chance to possibly try out for a sport that I never got a chance to actually see, but I've always been planning on seeing. So there was the dog races and the highlight were the two things that I always wanted to see being down here in Miami, but I never got a chance to because I was always in the books for studying or on the baseball field dealing with baseball. And so finally got a chance to learn the sport highlight. And when we were practicing, Coach Stu was really my coach at the time because myself and Jay Liss were working throughout the week, so we could not practice throughout the middle of the week, so we could only work on weekends. And Stu actually said that he would actually show up on weekends for us to work out with us. And
Wow.
after a couple weeks, I thought that we were not going to be getting paid until we start in July. I ended up asking them, I was like, hey, there's some kind of mistake or something, because there's this thing saying that I'm getting paid by Flagler something. There's a direct deposit that's put in. I ended up asking Stu about it. He's like, no, y'all getting paid for this. I was like, no, seriously? We're getting paid to be here practice right now? I didn't think we were getting paid until possibly in July. I was like, oh, great.
Yeah.
And so
Tennessee
that's
was
how it
just
all
like,
started.
yeah, I'll spend 3 days a week. I don't know. I got the time. It's fine.
Yeah. So that's how it all started. But then when we actually got a chance to go out on the court, and come July, I think it was July 1st or July 4th that first year, we got a chance to go out on the court. We got the jerseys ready to play, and then lo and behold, somebody goes and screws up our starting time. Anderluck decides to throw the ball hard and hits right at the corner and actually shatters the glass. So we have to delay our start time by about 4 hours. But
4 hours. That's wild.
It was great to finally get a chance to go out there, play, and fortunately, we got a lot better quicker, because that first day, we looked terrible. I was like, oh my God. We were all saying, like, oh my God, everybody that came here to watch is going to turn around. Nobody's going to come back and watch us again. They're only going to come back just to see if one of us dies. That's the only reason.
Oh my God. Well, you guys have proven a lot of people wrong. You guys are more than capable, and how you've progressed has been amazing. And Kyle, you were one of the guys that came in here actually after the first season, and your experience of how you came on the roster is a little different. So maybe talk about, your amateur experience and then how you came to Magic City and how that process went.
Well, my dad started teaching me how to play, or I started watching him when I was really young, and then he started teaching me how to play when I was tall enough to hold the basket without it scraping on the ground, which was about 10 years old. And I just, it was everyone in Jai-Alai always said, oh, there's no money in Jai-Alai, is dying, stick to golf, that's where the money is. And so that's like what I did. I just played Jai-Alai here and there recreationally. But it was my favorite sport, but I just knew that there was a lot more opportunity in golf. And fortunately, I was able to get a lot of opportunities in golf with and scholarships and playing college and stuff. And then one day after I graduated, I was just being a valet, and then I heard about this Jai-Alai tryout, and I went out there. And fortunately, a couple greats from the in the game put some good words in for me with Stu and Ara and Scott, and I think it's kind of funny that they were unsure if I was going to be too good, and then to see Douglas come in after that, only playing for like 6 months and then being twice as good, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, and you said you had some experience before here, and someone asked about that, and he said, since you have some pre-Magic City Jai-Alai experience, do you feel that your progress level is similar to others as far as being adjusted to that court versus others who have never played, pre-Magic City?
I think that learning on the court in St. Pete, like obviously because Magic City is small to most highlight players, but to me it's very big, just from what I grew up playing on. But so playing in St. Pete, I kind of developed a short court, rubber ball court style. And it helps me in some ways and hurts me in others at Magic City. As far as passing on the right side or forehand rebotes, that's something that I'll struggle with. But as far as court positioning and getting out of the way and angles and catching some balls that are like a little more difficult, I'm able to reel them in a little better just because of having a lot of reps in my life.
Yeah. And someone else about the court size, and maybe Tennessee, you can talk about this too. Like how do you feel about that shorter court a little bit? You said, Magic City being a smaller court, it adds to the appearance of players like screening other players at times. Is that really a concern? Is that a concern? Do you feel constricted at all out there, or do you still feel that, there's enough space out there to move around?
A lot of times, well, y'all see me playing, and I tend to find a way to run into people a lot, or we end up finding a way to, I even run into the judges every once in a while. So yes, it does feel very tight, but compared to where we first started off practicing at in North Miami, it's larger, but also compared to other locations, Miami Jai-Alai, you have the Dania, it is a lot smaller by I think about 30. I think it's 30 yards at least. But when I'm playing against, when LA or Bradley and myself are playing against each other, yes, where you do feel like we're right up on each other because we're both staying back, and then both of us have long wingspans. He tends to throw more sidearm. I'm trying to just follow through, but both of us are trying to make sure that we don't hit each other with our cesta. More so than we're trying to make sure that we're not hit each other with the ball as we're throwing the ball, so that we can still be competitive, right, throwing the ball hard. And then every once in a while you'll find us even have those of us that are the smaller of us, like Juice. He and I will still find a way sometimes to get close and almost running into each other, especially when he throws his forehand a little bit harder, and he's trying to let the ball go as fast as hard as he can. When he follows through, it makes him he carries himself towards the wall, the front glass a little bit, and he cannot get himself out of the way so that others have a chance to catch the ball or get a rebote or whatever it might be.
Right.
So yes,
it's also not very often that you have two guys.
Do find a way to.
No, I was going to say there you got two guys that are 6'4", 6'5".
You don't have two guys
in singles that usually doesn't happen out there. And that's the Magic City difference. And you talked a little bit about the rubber ball, and Kyle talked about how your game was a little more suited for that rubber ball short court style. Someone wanted to know about the ball itself. It seems like hard. Can you describe the material a little bit for the people at home?
Well, so I don't know. It's kind of, the ball before it's taped is kind of like a cross between a lacrosse ball and a regular pelota. But so after you put the tape on it, it bounces more like a pelota, but it still has that grab. Like it still will grab on the walls. It will still grab in your basket and take that spin and pop out, instead of where a pelota, which has a lot less like friction, is just gonna spin in the basket without grabbing the basket and popping out. I got hit today and it's swelling up quite a bit, and I should have put some ice on it. Maybe I will now. In the half shin, half calf, I guess, and it definitely hurt. So yeah, it's not soft. You're right about that. But it does have rubber ball tendencies, especially when it's going a little slower. As it goes faster, and with the tape on it, it'll take more of a traditional bounce.
Right. That was top notch. Tennessee, yeah. Anything to add there?
The only thing that I could say different is that yes, the ball is actually made of a hard plastic, and Coach JR actually did have there's a company in Spain that actually created it for us to be able to use, and it on the outside it seems like it's a rubbery material. Is almost like if anybody has actually seen a hockey puck or felt a hockey puck, that's what it almost feels like on the outside, but it's actually a hard plastic that actually is able to bounce. Fortunately,
I think we've got some.
Tennessee, your connection's bad.
How for a second, but
I feel like I feel like Now you're back. I think we're back here.
Okay, but what I was saying is that Kyle or Kubala, I don't know if you've ever had been hit by a hockey puck, but fortunately, if you haven't, fortunately you haven't, because a hockey puck actually hurts a little bit more, because they actually freeze the hockey pucks, and you can take a slap shot right off the shin, where I've actually had that because of my years before playing hockey when I was in high school.
Yeah, I haven't really heard of that hockey puck, comparison before, but I think that's pretty accurate, because it is rubbery, but you see all the time those things into the crowd, and people get hurt all the time at hockey games. It's a huge point of concern that puck's flying out there. I mean, that's what you guys are, coming at you pretty much all the time. That's why you got the helmets and the baskets, and that's why, like you said there, it swells up pretty quickly. If you get hit, it does not feel good. Yeah, and you guys have been out there. Yeah, kind of. Hopefully you'll be okay. But so you got a fan here wondering, when we did have fans, and that it seems like a while ago now, what was the funniest thing you heard one of them yell from the crowd? Your favorite fan interaction?
Take it away,
Kubala
Tennessee.
Started.
Oh my God.
All right, I'll say this. I remember year one. I know Nate the Great did not. He even laughed at this one, but somebody said like, "Oh, got a hamburger over here for you if you win this point." To Nate the Great one time. And every once in a while, there's this where there's one gentleman I've never forgotten his name, but I know he sits close to us, towards one of us might tip the ball or something. All you hear is this "Oh!" that Ben finds a way to imitate it so perfectly. But you just hear him like, "Oh!" So you're like, like, oh, you messed up his betting.
Yeah, you're like that guy's not with you for the day. Kyle, what about you?
Let's see. Well, I mean, my favorite, not that it was all that funny, but just my boy sitting out there going, "Kubala, you the best." Although I think he did that with a few different guys. But I never
Yes,
heard it for anybody else. I only heard it when he did it for me. And then there was a couple that would bring their kid in here and there, and they were big fans of me. So the little kid was a big fan, and he would just get so excited, be like Kubala, and it just sounded so cute, not
That's
funny,
adorable.
but my favorite.
Yeah, that's absolutely adorable there. And someone else was asking about Kyle. You're saying that you came in with a little bit of experience, and when Douglas came in, he obviously didn't have any professional experience. He trained there, but kind of a natural talent of you guys have seen. And they were worried about you being maybe too good or for these guys. Douglas came in. How do you guys feel about a guy like that, coming in and being so dominant pretty much from the start? How do you approach points with him? What's your mindset?
Oh, he's the worst. No, I think that I'm really glad that Douglas is here, because he's made me a lot better as a player, and I really I really enjoy practicing with players that are definitely better than I am. I mean, it's more competitive to play at the same level, but if you really want to improve, then you need to be playing with people that are better than you. And I think that he was the perfect guy to help the whole roster really get a lot better. Also, if he's not here, and had the start of the last season when he didn't come in for the first 5 weeks, and I was doing pretty well, and then he shows up, and then everyone was wishing that I was the one beating them, because now they were just getting demolished.
In Tennessee, I know maybe you have Kyle plays against him maybe a little more than you do, but when you get up against him, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I actually welcome it. I look forward it. I look forward to. Hello, Anderson. I look forward to. I look forward to playing against Douglas, against Kubala, against Ron, everybody, because it just gives me the opportunity to showcase, to play against other guys, especially when people are not expecting me to win. I'm the underdog. I always love being an underdog person. So and then unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, when I do win, sometimes you see the attitudes show up with everybody else, and I don't mean for the attitudes to show up. I just like the game, and I just like the competitiveness to play, and then fortunately that if we win, we get a little extra money out of it. But I just like the competitive heart of it, of us playing against each other, and that's the same way that majority of, if not how everybody else feels, the majority of all of us feel. We just like being very competitive with each other.
Yeah, in Tennessee, not to worry. I don't think anybody would ever complain about your competitiveness. There's never been, from either of you guys, ever been anything negative there, as people have been saying here in the chat. So one more question. When you started off here a couple years ago, at the start of this program, were there any other names from Miami that did you try to recruit anybody maybe from that baseball team, and you're saying like, hey, come out to Magic City, or how did that go for you?
I'm still trying to communicate with some of the guys from baseball to possibly try out, but some of the guys are still playing minor league baseball, and then after that, some of the guys just want to retire. Like one guy that I played with, Mike DeRosa. I know that his father used to play Jai-Alai, just playing around back in the day. But I tried to get him out here, but he's reluctant and saying like, no, I got kids. I'm going to stay at home. I'm done with my playing days. But the majority of the guys are still playing minor league baseball and just did not get a chance to come out.
Yeah. And I think we're going to do a 15-minute countdown here just to let everyone that's watching know. We're going to have 15 more minutes the last opportunity to submit your questions in the live chat there. 15 more minutes. This is the first day of a 3-day special event we got going on here, brought to you by the Jai-Alai channel. We had an interview today, lovely gentlemen. We got another interview tomorrow with 2 more special guests, another doubles pairing there. So we'll see who that'll be. You have to join us again tomorrow to see that. That'll be at 4 p.m. And then all leading up to that event, that's going to be the doubles duel. Saturday evening live coverage starts at the Jai-Alai channel, 7:30 p.m. And then play is going to start there 8 o'clock. That first round is going to be like the rotational type scoring that you guys are used to there. We're going to have 5 teams, 4 of which for a semifinal. And we're going to have 2 semifinal partidos and then 1 final match. And then the winner there out of those 5 teams will get $2,000 for you guys. $2,000 prize money going to the winning team there. Could potentially be you guys. Maybe it's going to be someone else there. And we also have Fantasy Jai-Alai component there going as well. Join the Fantasy Jai-Alai. That's fantasyjai-alai.com is the link. Pretty simple. You submit your doubles dual pairing in the lineup page, and then you have to make a final score prediction in the chat section. You got to get both the winning team and the final score exactly right for your chance at that $250 grand prize there. It's only going to go to the lucky winner, so if we have any ties, we're going to have to do a live drawing there on the Jai-Alai channel after that doubles duel to see who that $250 will go to there. So a lot of money at stake for you guys playing and for the fans at home. So that should be really fun there. And join us again that Saturday. Play's going to start at 8 o'clock. Coverage 7:30. We're going to get like a little pregame show in there. So that should be some fun. We'll preview the matchups and we'll have some fun with that. So with 15 more minutes here, we got some more questions coming in. Ace Highwood. Haven't been playing, doubles in a while here, but in general, do you prefer singles or doubles play? We'll start with Kyle.
Well, I've always preferred singles, just because I don't like, my communication skills were never all that great, and my confidence playing wasn't really that great. So doubles would be stressful for me because I just wouldn't know what to go for, and I wouldn't want to mess up the other guy. And but now that my communication is getting a lot better and I'm getting a little more confident, I still like doubles. I mean, I still like singles more, but maybe once I get used to the front court, that'll change.
Yeah.
And myself, I actually like. I'm more of the opposite. I like actually doubles more so because I like the teamwork, and I find myself playing a little bit harder if I have somebody that is depending on me. So I don't want to let down my partner. I want to try to make sure I grab any and every little thing. So if I end up losing the point, I get on myself a little bit, quite a bit more, even though you might not be able to see it online or anything. I hide my emotions a lot better than some of us, but I end up eating myself up a lot more if I end up missing something during doubles play. But that's the reason why I like that much more than singles.
Yeah, and going into this partido style on Saturday with doubles, I mean, we did a couple exhibitions after performances on Sunday. I know Kyle took part in that. This is going to be a little bit different than what you're used to, because you lose a point in this spectacular 7 scoring there, you go back to the bench, you may not get up the rest of the game. Benefits you guys that you get to stay out there longer? If you make a mistake, that, all right, I got another point, I can make a quick adjustment instead of having to go there and think about it maybe for the next 2, 3, 4 minutes while. Yeah, Kyle, hand up, take it.
Well, I mean, I think that, spectacular 7 scoring is absolute torture. But I mean, that's just because, that's why I like the 9-point games a lot more, because it gives me a chance to get a few more reps in or whatever, get a few more chances to get back up. And then when you're in playing partidos, it's, that, like, it's that, but way better, because you're never really getting off the court. And then even with 5 teams instead of 8, that's going to be really nice to not have to sit for so long, and also not have to worry about points doubling and the game getting away from you after missing 1 ball.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting because, I mean, we talk about it on the broadcast all the time with sorry, cut you off, Tennessee, but in those 9-point games with you, Kyle, it seems that you win a lot, and you're saying you just feel a lot more comfortable, and I was saying it maybe because you just get a couple more opportunities, and you're very consistent, and you're solid, and you're catching, and all of that. Just, you need another opportunity, and sometimes guys just like Douglas get up there and, they run it out on their next opportunity. You don't even get a chance.
Right.
Whereas in those 9-point games, you really do.
But at the same time, maybe if I'm in post 2 and I get a quick 2 points and then Ron runs the rest of the game, then I just made $50 for doing nothing.
It's not bad. And Tennessee, what were you saying?
I was going to say, adding on to the way this Partido is going to go this weekend, we are also and how people are wondering on the size of the court and how hard we're throwing. You're going to see something a little bit different with the way that we're serving the ball, because of everybody's getting at least a couple chances to possibly go for the ace serves during this Partido. So I don't know if I think you already heard about it, Andrew, but guys are going to get a chance to play. We're actually going to be able to serve the ball like an actual Partido. So if you miss on the first one, whether it's under serve or over serve, you still got a chance to get the ball in.
Like tennis there.
Yes. Yeah, you have a let.
Except that creates a little bit of danger for the front quarters. But just keep your head,
right.
just keep your heads up, because I just got a new basket today because I snapped the frame on my other new one, which I haven't had very long, unfortunately, and I really like that one. But this new one is a little more hooked, so it might be aiming towards Bueno's head here and there. Hopefully not.
And how long does it take to get adjusted to a new cesta? I mean, it's not like another sport where, it's not the same. And it takes, you see guys that go out there, and we mentioned on the broadcast, when they have a cesta that's messed up because balls are going high, low, left, right. It's all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, when I got the cesta before this one, the next 4 performances, I made $0. So I would say it takes definitely a full 2 days to get comfortable, with the curvature of it. And then it probably takes about a week or 2 before it's not like extremely hard. Cause it's the cesta is so tight and so hard that the ball will just hit it, not give, and then just bounce right out. So hopefully I can break it in a little more tomorrow.
Almost similar to baseball having a new glove. The ball will bounce out of it if it's not broken in.
Yeah, it takes a little while to getting used to it. I remember the days for a little bit, you try to get it soft enough just so you can go out there and use it, and that takes a little while to get used to there. And as we said, in this exhibition doubles duel coming up on Saturday, look at that. Is that the what is that?
This is the new one.
Or is that the broken one? That's the new one there.
That's the new one there.
So how does that work? You get to take them home. You get to take home those cestas, and you sleep with it. What do you do before? Do some light some candles.
All right. Well, I don't think we need to go into everything that I do with my highlight basket, but I can say that I don't know if the sun doesn't go down until like 9 o'clock. I should be able to go to some park or something today and just throw against a wall just to start hitting, like I catch the ball like right here-ish, just to start hitting that spot and make it a little softer. so that the ball's not popping out a bunch when I need to come in clutch for Tennessee.
Or maybe
look,
Kyle, or maybe Kubala and I can go to the park and I'll just get my baseball glove and get a baseball and we'll just play catch with him and throw it so he can catch it in that spot.
I was gonna say you guys should team up and have a little practice session there. So where do you go? You just go to a park and you just throw it against a random wall. That sounds fun. I should come join you.
Yeah, I mean, I know a guy at Magic City. We might be able to get you out there. But there's a couple like practice tennis walls or racquetball courts, or there's all kinds of stuff, and there are some places that are much more suitable than others. But I found a couple places that have a relatively high wall, pretty wide, and then has a fence in the back, so I can brush up on my. Yeah, it is. Unless I want to do a lot of cardio, which Ben tells me I should, but I don't know. I think he's trying to play me, and I think he's up to something.
Ben, I asked Ben there because he played in about 500 games these past 2 weeks, and I was like, "Do you get tired?" And he's like, the level of conditioning that you have to get to play football. He's like, this doesn't even. He's like, this is could be 100 games for him. He said he's never going to be faced by that. So not surprised that he's telling you to go out there and just run. It's probably nothing for him.
Well, that's why I only play a few games. They want to keep me fresh.
Yeah, and someone wondering, this piece behind me here, this is a furnished apartment that I got here, so don't know if this is IKEA. The people are really wondering. IKEA is a great store. It's a little, I don't know. It looks a little tall to be IKEA. I don't know how they put that all in the box. But hey, looks good. So not my choice there, Pete. I wish I could give you a better answer on the IKEA there, but nothing wrong with IKEA, as Les was saying there. Like, IKEA is a bad thing. Absolutely not. So this guy, I was wondering this. Yeah, I was going to say, they see a guy just with a cesta out there throwing a ball. Do people ever seem curious about the cesta and come up to you and say, like, hey, like, what is that? What are you doing when you're out there? Or do you tend to not really run into people?
I would say that for the most part, people will keep to themselves, but I definitely, notice a lot of looks. And once in a while, somebody will walk up and say, "Oh yeah, I used to watch that," or ask me what I'm doing. Once or twice, I had there were like a few kids that came up and asked what I was doing, and then next thing you know, there's like 3 or 4 kids on the court, like a couple of them with baskets, like trying to throw it against the wall.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, it is a little odd to do it at a park because most people won't recognize it. But it's good. It's good to get some new people exposed, I guess.
Yeah, and as we've been saying here, we've got a long highlight season left, and we have 4 more months. And you guys have positioned yourself well. We talked about it at the beginning, where you guys stand in those championship single standings. Important to get into the top 3. You got $15,000 bonus to first place, $10,000 to second, $5,000 goes to third. Kyle, you're 1 win outside of that third and final bonus money slot. Tennessee, you're just 4 wins behind Kyle, so you're right there, just 5 behind Douglas. When when you have that much, you got $5,000 on the line there. I mean, you thinking about that all season long? Is that something that's in the back of your mind, or are you just really going out there and taking it 1 game at a time?
Me or Tennessee?
Well, so we'll start with Tennessee.
I will find a way to look at the games that I'm in, and I'll actually think of possibly putting myself in. I'll say to myself, hey, see if you can try to win, get a first place once in each performance at least. That's that's what one goal that I try to get. I try to get at least one win in each performance, and that might help me out to keep me in the mix where I'm close enough to be able to get that grasp to first place, or whatever it might be to be in the top tier. And doesn't always happen. I know the last couple of weeks it definitely has not happened like that, but I've gotten a lot of second places, third places in the last couple of weeks. And then the other thing is, hey, just make sure you find a way to stay get that percentage of in the money, that percentage that you actually have set up to see who's in the money and everything. I want to try to my percentage. I want to try to get my win percentage for first place above 150, and make sure that my in the money percentage is above I think it's 430 or 440.
Yeah, you've been in the money a lot these past couple of weeks, even though you said in the win column it might not be what you were thinking. You said 12 shows in week 11, and I think you had 13. You had 11 and 12 the last 2 weeks there. So you're just all over in 7 places both of those times too there. And I was talking about on the air. I said place and show. I mean, most of the show, it's just got to be an effort thing. And both of you guys, again, someone was talking about how 110% effort from both of you guys. And it's really admirable. And people are talking about how much the fans love you guys. Someone was asking about music here. Daniel wanted to know, do you guys use music to put you in the best mood, to motivate you before going into big matches like partidos, or you have a big day? What's on the playlist, if anything?
Oh, well, I can take that.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, until we there was always music playing, in the highlight until we didn't have
Till this
viewers
pandemic
anymore.
came around.
And
right.
And I was always in the best mood because I'd walk in on Sunday morning and they would just have, they just have Love's an Open Door playing, and it's hard to be upset when you're playing Jai-Alai and listening to Disney music. So yeah, I would say the music is a very good way to put me in a good mood. I would say that I usually it's more on the drive over, not so much like once I get there, unless they're playing it out loud on the speakers.
Yeah.
But so Disney music is my favorite, and then like new age screamo metal kind of stuff, and then I really like alternative and like Rob Thomas and like from Matchbox 20 kind of stuff, Goo Goo Dolls, 90s grunge too. Yeah, it's all really good mood setters.
All aboard. Eclectic taste there. And Tennessee, what about you?
I mean, Sundays, I do love the Sundays as well, because I am always looking forward to something from Olaf or I would what is it, the Bare Necessities from Jungle Book, and
yeah,
then
that's
but I every once in a while I will also just look into like really old school, something like Rick James or something. The Rick James song.
Nice.
Is a love song.
All over. That's great there. And Pete comes back with another serious question. He says enough with trolling about the IKEA pieces. He wants to know, how much of a motivator is added money when obviously all you guys are competitive, and how does that compare to the natural competitiveness that all you guys clearly have out there?
Let's see. Well, I mean, money is a very large motivator. It is extremely nice to know that I can go to Jai-Alai and not catch a single ball and still make a salary for the day and still have medical benefits that day. But I think it's like, I don't know, that during the season, probably at least half of my pay comes from win, place, and show, and that's a huge factor. But
right.
does it make it more competitive? Like, yeah, intuitively it would make it more competitive, but I also think that it would still be extremely competitive, even if it was just all salaries and not Boleto. I think it would still be extremely competitive just because the guys that you have brought together.
And for myself, I'm just very competitive. I just want to win. I don't want to be the person to lose a point. The only part that the money does actually play a factor in for me is because I have 2 kids and a wife at home that likes to add to cart a whole lot. She likes to add to cart a whole lot. So I'm like, I got bills that she's already spent that I got to pay. So I need to win, or else I'm not going to see any money to pay for gasoline for my vehicle. I want to ride the bike to work. I gotta put gas into the bike.
You got the bike. That's what I didn't even realize that you were getting to work with a motorcycle. And I saw one day you have the back of the Cesta on there. Do you ever get looks driving on the highway when you got the Cesta, you got the motorcycle? People are like, where's this guy going?
Yes, every once in a while I'll look over and people are looking at me, and then they look behind me. I'm thinking that they're looking at my rear end. I'm like, why are they looking at my rear end? And I was like, oh, I forgot I got the Cesta on the back, tied onto the back. And they're just looking at that. And but I tend to not go slow enough for that everybody to be stuck around me too long. I don't go overboard by going like way above the speed limit, but I go above the speed limit enough or faster than other people enough to not be around other people regarding to safety.
Sure, absolutely there. And while we have a couple more minutes here with you guys, we went a little bit past the 15-minute mark. We're going to keep rolling here for a couple more minutes while the questions keep coming in. Kyle,
I don't know. There's just this rumor going around that Anderluck was by himself on one of these things and got 1 hour and 45 minutes. So I'm just wondering about that. I'm kind of
1 hour and 45.
I really need the media attention, kind of like Tenard does. It's a similar thing.
How are we getting held up to less time than Helm? There's 2 of us. Oh my goodness! Come on, what's up?
No, we'll go the 4 hour and 45 there. We're gonna have the Robote recap. We'll tease a little bit. That's gonna be debuting here at 5:45. So make sure you're not gonna go anywhere. So we'll keep you here. We got that coming up for you. And we got Sabrine D. Just a follow-up question about the competitiveness here. Do you think it would still be competitive specifically for this group of guys or in general? That was directed for Kyle.
I think that it would be like for this group of guys because I've seen a lot of different players in general, like at Miami Amateur and Connecticut Amateur and St. Pete. And, it's still competitive even when there's not money on the line. But like these group of guys, like just everyone's background, everyone was very successful, like in their own thing. And then you just start them all at zero and like level the playing field and say, good luck. And so I think that just, these guys are all chomping at the bit to get the wins and just get the upper hand on whoever they're playing.
Yeah. In Tennessee, people are coming in and saying there's no way that you speed. They don't believe it. I don't believe it either. Probably if it's 70 on 95, I think you're going maybe to 70, 73 max.
No comment. No comment.
No comment. So Roland was talking about Anderlecht took our suggestion of celebrating. He had that new the bartender celebration where he shook the cocktail a little bit. I know Kyle's got his celebration. Tennessee, you do a little salute and turn to the camera there. Is there a reason why you do that? Is there significance, or is there anything else you maybe have thought about incorporating?
That is just something that I've always done a little bit when playing baseball, just tipping my cap to everybody that I see. So that's just a way of me tipping my cap, saying thank you for watching, and I did my best for you.
Always thinking about the people. That's great.
Yeah.
Fan favorite. That's awesome. And they're asking about why the nickname Tennessee as well. Roland was wondering that. Explain how you got the nickname too, please.
I got that name actually because of my last 3 years of playing baseball. That's when I ended up getting my motorcycle. I was playing in New Jersey, and because of me being from Nashville, Tennessee, I had the Tennessee plates. Guys riding the bikes would always see me with the Tennessee plates, and they would just call me Tennessee. So that's my bike riding name, and I've just decided to keep it because I am from the 615, and I do like to represent where I came from Nashville, Tennessee, and so just that's where the name Tennessee ended up coming from. Those two things.
And your number 37 as well there, which is a pretty significant number in the world Jai-Alai.
Yes.
I know that Stu talked about how there was some controversy at the beginning, but you've upheld the 37.
A little bit. I'm just not doing all the two walls that Mr. Joey did back in the day, and the reason why I got the number 37 is that was my playing number from college. I used to like to wear the number 20 because I just always wanted to be like my brother. Both of us are born on the 20th. He's August 20th and I am April 20th. So I used to like the number 20, but because the number 20 was actually retired at University of Miami, I had to pick out another number. So I always, I grew up in Tennessee. My mom has always been in the church, and my grandmother was an evangelist. So dealing with biblical times, I decided to pick a number that was, significance biblical. So the 3 is the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. You have the number 7, who is in the eyes of, that's when the earth, the world was created. It took 7 days for the perfection of the world. And then you put both those numbers together. That's the perfect in man's eye. 3 plus 7 is 10, so the 10 is the perfect. So 3 perfections.
A lot of significance behind the number 37 there, obvious. For Kyle, you're 25. Is there any? I know you have some ties to the game. Your father played a little bit there. Any significance behind 25 for you?
Let's see. Well, it's basically from SpongeBob, where they're in Mrs. Puff classroom and they're laughing, and SpongeBob tells Patrick that 25 is funnier than 24, so I went with 25. Also, there was a very limited number of options that I had.
Yeah.
And
that's great.
I didn't know which one to pick, and 25 was the only one that rung a bell, and it was a SpongeBob quote, and I said, heck yeah.
That's great. James J. wanted to know what inspired you to get that blonde look. What inspired?
Yeah,
he called you Douglas Jr. That's I don't know if that one will stick there, but
well, I just, like I said, if my hair looks like Douglas, then I'll play like him. Or maybe one day when I grow up, I could play like him.
But he was also a little serious with the asking people what color they want him to go. I saw a couple answers saying lavender, and then somebody said pink, which I know that's one of our favorite colors. That we were possibly hoping that we were going to be wearing a pink jersey instead of the red, but we'll go with the red.
Yeah.
Yeah, pink. I was gonna say they just said pink would be. That came up there. Pink would be pretty cool, and it would match the 7. But we'll see. It'll be a surprise. Tennessee, have you ever done anything crazy with the hair? What's the best thing you've done?
Most that I've done, just letting it grow out. I was actually planning on dyeing it to be a pair along with Kubala, but I still gotta ask the wifey. She might come in here in the garage right now, saying, "What the heck are you talking about?" Because I know that she's watching it on the TV. I think in the other room with our 3-year-old. But I have thought about possibly dyeing it. I know in college in the World Series, in the 1998 College World Series, the entire team, everybody shaved their head. So I had a shaved head back then. Other than that, I actually let the hair grow out one time and I had it braided, and I decided to take the braids out down the middle. So I had the mohawk going with the braids down the sides.
That's cool. That's a different one. I haven't seen that one. No, that's awesome. And a little more serious now. This is a really good question, talking about your guys' improvement here throughout your professional career. Chula Vista want to know: do you think you guys can keep improving at this rate? Maybe how long do you think you can keep improving at this rate? Do you think when's that plateau going to come, if ever?
Well, I think that I can definitely keep improving. I would say that I reached a plateau before Magic City, because just not playing consistent enough, you can't improve a significant amount, I don't think. But then once I started playing every day, then and I started to get better at useful practice, and started taking videos, and my form has a long way to go before it's where I think it should be. So I think that I'm a long way from a plateau, but I'm just gonna keep grinding to get there. Also, I think we had it up on the screen a minute or two ago. If I match my dog's hair with my hair, I would just be dyeing it this again, or maybe a little lighter.
But I think you'd have to put a white tip in the back, I think, for the tail.
That would be tough. You're going to need some help there.
Or I could just match bandanas or something.
And Tennessee, what about you? What do you think about your improvement? You've obviously, this is your 3rd year now, but you started a little maybe before Kyle did. He had a little more experience. So where do you think your game's going to go from here? Where's the potential?
I am actually still working on trying to get my right side, where right when I got injured, I was actually feeling a lot better and actually getting myself to the point where I could actually throw, to the point where Stu has always been telling me that if I can actually get my arm straight, I can throw as strong as LA, if not possibly be the strongest thrower out here. But I just still have to.
Yeah.
It's just fighting that sense that I've been trained from baseball to keep my chest going forward, where I need to make sure that I find a way to rotate my body so that my back is to the front wall where I'm throwing the ball, and I'm just trusting myself so that the ball does not hit Machu Picchu every single time when I'm rotating, so that I can actually let the ball go a lot better than I do. And then just being able to get the angle so I can live up to the number 37, so I can hit those 2 walls and everything like Joey used to do.
Yeah, and you talked about it a little bit. How was that transition from baseball to highlight? I mean, what are the similarities? What was the easiest part for you?
There's still a lot of room for improvement.
I think CRB throws it the hardest. So, and we have radar gun to prove that.
To catch. Yeah, I clocked him at over one. I think it was a little bit over 130. The radar gun wouldn't go higher than I think 135 that I brought, and it hit hit 135 with CRB.
Yeah, and Douglas, I don't think Douglas could get past like 115. So
yeah, he was like 119. It was 119 for Douglas. So he's a little weak out there.
CRB,
Douglas is a little weak.
Fastest throwing guy on the roster.
That's, the hardest throwing guy and the fastest. The hardest throwing guy and the fastest guy out there. He can run circles around Jed and all the time.
And obviously you guys are competing together in this doubles duel, but James J wanted to know here, who are your favorite front quarters? I mean, Tennessee, you don't have to say Kyle, and Kyle, you're in the front, but who are your favorite front quarters to play with in those doubles games in our regular season?
For me, to match myself the way that I play, it would be a mixture of Kubala, Bueno, or Carballo. Because the only thing with Carballo is I know that I would have to communicate with him to let a ball pass probably every once in a while that I'm there. Yeah, but with everything else, Bueno and Carballo, Bueno and Kubala are the best guys for me to be paired with the way that I stay far back in the backcourt.
Mm-hmm. Kyle, what about for you?
Let's see. I think me and Douglas in preparation for the
I was gonna say Douglas. I was gonna say you and Douglas.
For the national event, we tried practicing with him in the front, and obviously he's gonna be good anywhere you put him, but I definitely enjoyed having him up front. And then I think like my favorite front court style out of anybody is Bueno, just because of how good he is at cutting his caroms, and as well as like getting back inside and catch stuff in the air. He catches a lot in the air, and I didn't realize how difficult it was until I went up there myself and tried to, and I was just hacking him off the frame all day today.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why the new Cesta is coming out.
Yep.
And again, Pete you guys are talking about that competitiveness. He said that's what set you guys apart there at Magic City a couple questions ago. And why people have come to really appreciate, this Magic City highlight, which is a little bit different. The competitiveness is something that sets us apart. You guys are always going out 100% all the time. Ace High would agree with what Pete was saying there. 110% effort. And in particular, you guys, that's really what has helped to grow. And I think you guys are also your willingness to learn and get better, because Tennessee, you talked about, especially in those early days, it was probably pretty hard to stay, positive, and people were probably saying a lot of negative things, a lot of naysayers about the program. And, how did you deal with something like that? And how does it feel to see where it is really just a couple of years later?
We just kept on staying positive about where we first started off with when we were practicing in North Miami, on how we couldn't even throw the ball straight or forward without hitting the ground, and then we just believing in ourselves that we actually could pull things off, and that we knew that we were better than what we were showing at the with the way that we were performing during those first few weeks of us performing back a few years ago, and just to where we're at now, we're just fortunate that all of us are still majority of us are still here, and a few months afterwards, how we finished off that first season, we finished off a lot stronger than everybody expected, and we ended up showing a great performance for everybody during that last performance, that last November, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and just thinking back to the beginning of last year when Kyle first started, where you guys have come now to some of the points we saw this past week, It was,
Yes.
I mean, unbelievable. And Kyle, you talked about, you had some rallies there with Bueno and Ron, and when Ikeda was healthy, him too. You know, you would have those points that last over a minute long. And, you know, those first performances were, you know, under serve, over serve, or, you know, one throw and a drop. So, I mean, give credit to you guys. And, you know, I think that athleticism and your athletic is part of it. You know, you had this background in other sports and you're able to adapt very quickly. I know we talked about Tennessee as baseball, but Kyle, for you as a golfer, what were some of those skills that translated to Jai-Alai?
Take it away. Well, sorry, what was that, Andrew?
No, to talk about some of the skills that you use maybe in golf that help, you know, that translate to Jai-Alai.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that just like concentration, you know, focus, and it's really hard to, like, I would say my biggest problem is to tense up when I get in a pressure situation. And and especially in golf, like in Jai-Alai, you can tense up and do what you need to do, but in golf, that it doesn't work that way. So I would say that's something that is a struggle in both games. But if it would be way more difficult if I hadn't already had a lot of practice with it in golf. That and then I think a lot of my left side power comes from practicing my lefty golf swing quite a bit throughout my career. I wish I could just get a little more comfortable on the right side. But I think.
Yeah, I was going to say. Go ahead.
I wish I could have been able to translate my right side a little more into the Jai-Alai, but it hasn't come through yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah, and as you said, I mean, you guys both have tons of room to grow as well, and I think you guys are just on the cusp of really breaking out here in both of your careers. I mean, 3 years into playing any sport really at this level of commitment, you know, 4 or 5 years down the line, you guys are it's going to be fun to watch here. And Steve M was talking about, he said he's been watching Jai-Alai games since 1978 in the short court version that you guys put out, and the way you guys play is far more entertaining to watch there. So even people maybe that have been watching for years and years are starting to open up to it, which is great to see. And James J also coming in here again, asking about an inter-fronton tournament. That would be kind of an interesting concept. Who do you think would be I mean, that would be fun to play. You got to think that maybe Douglas or Ron, one of those guys would be the favorite. But is that something that we've done, full roster tournament in your time there?
It has not been done yet, but it's something that we welcome the challenge. We're looking forward to that. That's possibly one of the reasons why Scott had the why we wanted this tournament to actually happen that could not happen because of the pandemic going on. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, no, we can hear you. You're good.
All right, just that's probably that's one of the reasons why we wanted to possibly have that tournament that we could not get going on, so that we could actually that challenge that some people are wanting out there, so that we could actually have that challenge between the frontons. Maybe we could play at our place, and then also have another one at y'all's place. Bring it on.
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully, love it. Call it out. Yeah. Hopefully we can. We'll get that back going. It's been postponed. That was supposed to be what was this week, and why we're doing this special 3-day event. Again, we had these guys. We've been live for over an hour 45. We're wrapping up here. We got about 10 more minutes. We got the Robote recap debuting live here after that, so you're not going to want to go anywhere at 6 o'clock when we go off the air. Just watch that for a couple minutes. Going to be really good recapping where everyone is in those championship singles standings. Talking a little bit about the doubles, a little fantasy update, and then you got the play of the week there. So that'll be coming up at 6 o'clock. But a couple more minutes we got going here. Pete IL coming back with another question, talking about the mental part of the game and physical. How much of your game is mental versus physical? And he said maybe you feel like that may be discounted with some fans. There's a huge component, playing with fans versus not playing with fans. And what do you guys think about that?
I think that my game is probably 80% mental and 20% physical. And the reason that I put such a high value on my mental game is because if the mental game is off, then everything is off.
Yeah.
It's like as long as you're healthy and you don't have physical limitations, then it's not so much a matter of what my body can do. It's a matter of what my brain can get my body to do, and a lot of times it's not syncing up. And that's why you'll see guys that will win 3 games in a row in the performance and then come out the next performance and drop every ball. It's just because it's everything between the ears. Yep. Oh, also, I think that
yeah, go ahead.
It's way different. Pete says that he feels like it's been discounted with fans. I feel like that's definitely probably the case for online viewers only. But people that have come to see it in person, I think, get a much better perspective on what we're actually doing and how difficult it is. Because even when I watch myself in the tapes, it doesn't really seem like I'm doing all that much, but I remember how out of breath and exhausted that I am from just this 30-second point or whatever.
Right. In Tennessee.
I'm about the same way as what Kubala is saying. Majority of the game is mental because I remember some weeks ago when because you had asked me about Douglas earlier. I know that some weeks ago, I think it's maybe the 3rd week that we were playing in doubles. I had actually, and I know that you had made a comment about that I let out an aggressive roar one game where I dropped the ball. Because I was mentally in my own head about catching a ball on the right side from him. I was beating myself that I was not able to catch one of the balls from on the right side off of whenever he tried to throw it hard. And I was making myself to actually catch the ball on the right side where I was having trouble on the backhand side. And then it ended up being a week after I finally came to terms where I trusted myself again, where I didn't have a problem. I'm not scared of that corner anymore, and being able to catch the ball with the backside compared to the right side. So that the game will get very mental for you over the physical side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Great answers, guys. And people are just loving it. So we're going to keep rolling here. We may even go past that 6 o'clock deadline. As long as you guys are good, keep giving the answers. We're good to go here. Kyle's pumped about it. Brian D, Tennessee, he wants to know, do you have people that watch live when you're playing? I guess both of you guys. Do you have family that watch live?
For myself, yes, I do have family that watch live. I have my mom is watching in Tennessee. My brother's watching in Maryland. My father is watching in Louisiana. I have cousins in New York and South Carolina that will send me messages that they're watching, and then the wifey and the kids. Well, no, my 3-year-old, they will actually watch from home. They put it up on the big screen at home. The screen that I got the first year 1, they'll actually put it up and watch it on that TV here at the house of us playing. Then they're probably watching right now. Hi, Mom.
For me, I have the whole fam watching almost every time I play. grandparents and just like my intermediate family, extended family. Most of them are extremely supportive, like always tuning in, you know, always messaging me and supporting me and sending the love. So I definitely appreciate that, and it's something else to know, you know, that like the same thing. Anytime Tennessee's family would come to the court last season, he would win like every other game when they came there, but. But then he didn't have his family. He wouldn't have his family there, and then just say, "Oh man, I didn't mean. I'm not going to win this point. I'll let you have it." Because he's too nice. He's too nice.
Too nice. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys saw this, if you read back or watch back those performances there, but Stu, when he was out there, said that if we got 50 likes on one of the performances, he would strap on a cesta and go out there and throw a serve sometime before the end of the year, and we'll have it. We'll have a video of it, and the fans get to see it.
Yeah.
If you guys had the we'll say the luxury of seeing Stu play Jai-Alai, or is that something that you guys have yet to see?
I've seen it because he was the one that ended up helping teach me how to tie on the cesta and all of the above. So I actually got to see it, and he's actually not that bad at it. He doesn't throw it as hard, but he has a better. He knows where he's trying to throw the ball. He knows where he's trying to.
He's a pusher. He's an accuracy guy. You know, he'll outcatch you, but he's not going to overwhelm you with the power. I was going to say that'll. Kyle, go ahead.
Stu, yes, my hair is a different color. I just, you know, I just want people to think that I'm Douglas. But no, I'm going to be dyeing. You guys caught me in the middle of dyeing it. I bleached it first, and then I'm going to dye it later today. What was the question?
You're seeing a half product.
What's that?
You're only seeing half of the finished product here.
Right, exactly.
The first part. This will be a different color.
And then for Stu's game, I have definitely seen it before. It's a sight. It's a sight. Very, very good serve. Like beautiful right side. Left side is a little rougher, but not too bad. And then, man, the catching is just atrocious. But he's a great guy, no matter what Tennessee says.
Never a bad word coming out of his mouth. And Stu, actually, he's got a question here. Same one he asked to Andrew. In Tennessee, you're probably a good guy to ask this to. Is he too tough in his managing, coaching, announcing? Just give us your overall assessment on Stu as a teacher and his involvement with the program.
No, I think sometimes he's not tough enough. I think he's being soft on us every once in a while, and he has plenty of chance to like say something like what the heck was he thinking? Like sometimes every once in a while he will say that. I know that last week I think he said that against me. Like saying like Tennessee. I don't know where he just got that from, but he just threw that. And I know that
you're like, yeah.
I know that some of us take it a hard time every once in a while, saying like, "Oh, Stu's back. Yep, he's back. Listen to what he said." But I look forward to that. I mean, I look forward to him saying something. I'm like, "Hey, you got to say something more." Like, that was terrible what I just did, and you're not going to say nothing.
Do you guys prefer my soft millennial type of announcing when I'm out there? All great catches and great throws and all that. Yeah, it keeps everyone
beautiful.
Hey, when Andrew is announcing, I sound like the greatest highlight player in the world. And then when Stu's announcing, I just sound like, I don't know, not so good. No, anyway, like I think Stu's managing is very fair. You know, like sets the rules, and if you break them, then I mean, you get a fine, and that's it. But I don't think he's too tough in managing. Definitely not in coaching. I mean, in coaching, he's pretty. I'd say he's pretty laid back. Not as hands-on approach as Ara would have, But with the announcing, and now here's where it gets a little dicey. I wouldn't say it's too tough, because I think it's very funny, like when he like gives those those little comments. But once in a while, if I might do something like unconventional that he comments on, and then it'll like maybe distract me a little bit, like get like, and not that that's made me lose points or anything. Maybe it has here and there, but on occasion, like when I do something ridiculous, and then he'd tell me, then I'd be like, "Shut up, Stu," and then I'd be running down to the 4 line to get a rebote.
Yeah. He'll say like, "Yeah, he's all the way up the 4 line to turn this rebote," and it's like, they can hear you.
They can hear.
And yeah, no. Pete asked another question here about trash talking. That's an interesting thing. Don't hear that much, but maybe in the glass, I don't hear everything. Is there any trash talk that goes on? Any guys in particular that throw it around a little more than others?
Tennessee hears everything. What you got?
Well, yeah, there is some that goes on. Like on the court, there's not that much that might actually go on because everybody's concentrating. I know that I'll be honest with this. Like every once in a while, like during a game, I will actually say, "Hey, nice catch" or something when I'm actually playing against somebody. And I know Vuelo, I think, is the one that gets most angry with me when I'm saying it. Like, he's like, "Shut up, we're playing." He's like, "Stop talking, I got the cesta on." So he's told me anytime I have the cesta on, don't talk to me. But we have other guys. I mean, Ben and who's he's always with. Well,
Ben likes
just like how we were talking about with CRB, and CRB is in every conversation because he will be quick to the point on putting somebody on IG, like saying like, "Hey, he scored a point on somebody," and else before the game is even going out, like the point's not even done, and he's already been posted on IG.
Hey, Sabrine. So
yeah.
I haven't seen it myself, but I would definitely believe that CRB could run circles around Jedden. But that's more or less sarcastic. And then throwing faster than Douglas, that came from the radar gun, because the only time we had the radar gun out there, the radar gun said that CRB threw faster, and I trust technology.
Yeah.
I trust technology. Tennessee, what was the fastest you ever threw as a pitcher? Do you know?
As a pitcher with a radar gun, the hardest that I've ever been clocked at was 95 off of a mound.
95. That's some gas. That's up there.
It's a little bit up there. Yes, a little bit up there.
what was the repertoire? What were the pitches that you were using out there? I know every guy's got their specific pitch there.
So me, I actually throw fastball, and majority of times I did not always try to throw as hard as I could. So I would actually just let the ball run. I'll throw a 2-seamer, and I had a really good curveball, a cutter. When I was in college, I threw majority of times what is called a BP fastball, which is just a fastball, a slower fastball that almost goes right down the middle, but the ball would move so much where if the ball was starting in the middle of the plate, it would end off about 6 inches in on the inside part of the plate, and so it's always moving. But yeah, I think that if I threw my split finger before, I didn't throw a split finger until my last year and a half. If I decided to throw it earlier, I might have had a chance. I might have gotten to the big leagues.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, if you got a cutter, you got a splitter, you got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, I mean, you're all over the plate pumping some gas. I mean, that's tough to hit there. What was the hardest? I mean, would you say that the splitter was the hardest one to learn how to throw?
Probably for me, the changeup. Changeup was the hardest to learn because everybody was always talking about what is called a circle changeup. Because my hand size, I was always gripping the ball, and the ball would I grab the ball too much, So I never did
Yeah.
control that until somebody taught me the Vulcan changeup, which is like you hold your fingers like this, and the ball just goes right in the middle. Just throw it like your Spock, the Vulcan changeup.
Yeah. And George Quinn here want to know best and worst city you've ever played in minor league baseball. I know you probably traveled to a lot of different, you traveled across the country there, and you got some stories.
So one of the best cities was probably when I was playing with the Expos. The Expos were known for Montreal Expos. They were known to have the worst fan support, but their minor league team would have the best fan support. So we actually would have more fans than the major league team had. And we were in Burlington, Vermont. People came out to watch us play.
Wow.
We had a great time playing over there. That was one of the best times of me playing. One of the worst places was when I was playing in Southeastern League. I think we were somewhere in Mississippi, and that was the worst place that we played at. It was not just because of like the hotel, everything. I mean, it just seemed like it was terrible. I mean, either there or when I played in Fayetteville, North Carolina, because the only reason why I say Fayetteville, North Carolina, because the mosquitoes were like almost the size of a golf ball, and they would come in and at you everywhere. They wouldn't not suck blood, but they would go at your eyes every single time. So you would be like this the whole time during a game because of the gnats and the mosquitoes.
Ugh, that's tough there. And Kyle, this guy wants to know, Daniel here. I know you're a big Gatorade fan. Do you drink like any energy drinks before the performances, or are you strictly a Gatorade guy?
Well, my as many people know, anyone named Kyle drinks a lot of Monster, and that is a true stereotype. Yeah. It's a fact. However, when it comes to Jai-Alai, I will stay away from the energy drinks. And honestly, I try to go, as much as I would love to drink just Gatorade all the time, I try to go half and half with like Gatorade and water. What I petition for is G2, because that'd be way better for me. But so petition for the G2. And then here and there I'll have like pre-workouts, and that definitely helps with energy levels throughout a performance. Most of the guys will use Steel products and whatever other kind of pre-workouts, and just especially Ander Luck goes nuts with it, and then he'll have he'll just go 2 scoops in the mouth. He won't put it in any water or anything. 2 scoops pre-workout, and then go to the Cuban coffee that Bueno just made, two full cups of that, and then he's just wired.
He's ready to go.
Yeah, and
that's why he gets so much power.
Yeah,
that's when he becomes the bulldog and he starts walking around like, come on, work harder, come on. You actually hear him saying like, come on, give it to me. He will say that. He'll say, give it to me.
Yeah.
That's when he pushes Diaz out of the way and then grabs it at the 4 line.
It's good. No, you guys are fun. I mean, you guys play jokes and joke with each other all the time. And in Tennessee, you played a team sport and had a pretty big locker room. And Kyle, you could probably talk about this as well. How does this locker room compare to some of the others that you've been a part of throughout your life? I mean, it's got to be just completely different, but also a lot of fun as well.
You talking about this year or the locker room?
Yeah,
because of the big space that we got now.
Right.
No, the locker room was as part of the characters. The guys we all get along a lot more than some of the places that I've played at. Because of like baseball, playing together, guys are always hanging around with each other, or hanging out with each other and just taking care of each other. But this is very similar, but guys will tend to we tend to look out for each other the same. So if anybody needs anything, just like how Kubala gives Barbara a ride every once in a while, like we all find a way to look out for each other. Like El Barber doesn't really ask me for a ride too much because I don't think he wants to ride on the motorcycle with me. I don't know why.
They send the invitations there. If he ever wants to hop on the back, he can hold the Cessna for you.
Yes, exactly.
Stu saying, I bet, that pre-workout makes Stu's job considerably more difficult. That's what he's saying. That's
I think for as far as the locker room goes, I'm very bummed out that I never got to experience the locker room with Nate the Great in it and Baller in it, because I think that would have been quite the treat.
I was going to say, are you?
But there's plenty of crazy in the Magic City locker room. And you guys see it all the time in the audio in the broadcast a lot of times. But I think it's just such a great environment to have a bunch of guys that are all very competitive but get along pretty well for the most part. And even the guys that, I mean, obviously everybody's civil, but even the guys that like aren't the biggest fans of somebody else, like they're still, it's all really comfortable, and especially out on the court, everyone's real comfortable with it. And it's a nice, relaxed environment. It doesn't give me a bunch of anxiety.
Yeah, that's great. And one of the other reasons maybe sort of sets Magic City apart there, the locker room certainly different, as well as the effort, the play style, short court, a bunch of different things. We're over the 2 hour and 10-minute mark now. 6:15, I think we're going to close things out for you here. So a couple more minutes to get those last second questions in. Again, we'll be coming back tomorrow. We'll have 2 more guests that, you're going to have to tune in at 4 if you want to see who's that is going to be. Don't miss out on the doubles duel, the final event of this 3-day special event here, although we're not playing our regularly scheduled highlight. That doubles duel Saturday evening, 7:30, we'll begin our live coverage here on the Highlight channel, and then we'll be starting at 8 o'clock. That first round, again, is going to be a 5-team knockout round. The first 4 teams that reach 7 points are going to qualify for a semifinal. Then there's going to be 2 semifinal partidos and then a final game. And then the team that wins that 15-point final will take home $2,000. That's a grand prize for you guys out there. And we also have a fantasy highlight component for those of you at home because we don't have our regular week for you. You're going to choose one doubles pair, and then you got to submit your final score prediction as well in the chat section. You're going to go to fantasyhighlight.com. That's the same website we've been using for that fantasy game. $250 is on the line. You got to get the doubles pairing correct, and you also have to get that final score correct. So a little bit tougher this week and a little bit different than the weeks previous, so make sure to pay attention to all the rules there. These guys are going to be competing. They're one of the 5 teams. Again, you got Ben and Carballo, another one of the squads, Jenin and Anderluck, Ron and Legend, and then the final team of Bueno and Bradley. So a lot of really good teams out there. And while we have a couple minutes, guys, final thoughts going into it, maybe a final thoughts for the fantasy owners out there and maybe why they should pick you.
Take it away, Tennessee.
Well, you should pick us because we're a great duo. You got the best of both worlds. You got chocolate and vanilla. And also you might have, depending on what color y'all choose, you might have some strawberry on top of the vanilla over there. And you never know. But no, we're a great match. We give you every bit, whether it's in our character or on the court with the way we play. We give every bit that we can, so we can actually be a great entertainment to you guys.
Yep, said it perfectly there. We want to thank you guys, both Kubala there, number 25, Kubala, number 37, Tennessee, 2 of Magic City sweethearts there. You guys did a great job. I told you, time flies by. I mean, we did an hour. I did an hour 45 with Andrew Luck. Didn't feel like 2 hours with you guys. The questions were flowing in from you guys in the chat. We really, really appreciate that. And as we said, we got the doubles duel coming up this Saturday evening. These guys are going to be competing. It's going to be a lot of fun. 7:30, tune in. But before that, tomorrow we'll be back at 4 p.m. People are wondering who it is. You're going to have to tune in then. Like these guys were a surprise. That duo will also be a surprise. Thank you guys for joining us. And again, the Robote Recap, episode 12, will be premiering right now here on the Highlight channel, so you don't want to go anywhere. And we'll see you back here at 4 p.m.